Hello, everybody. My name is Marcell, the one and only Murray, and this is the Rant-A-Way podcast where we don't talk about our favorite things, we rant away about them. I got my co-host with me here today, Money Green. Money Green, what's happening?
What's going on with you? How you feeling?
Well, I'm not tired like last time. I am here. I am awake. I see me.
Hey, your weekend's just getting started. I was gonna say you having a good weekend, but yours literally just got started.
Yeah. I would say the stream was like my official start to it, but like I should have just stuck to Hatsune Miku and called it a day. But
That is true. So, people, we do have a special announcement today before we get started. Today is Pando's birthday.
Happy birthday, Money Green.
Happy birthday, Pando. No, mine is in November. Today is all you.
I can get you the Joker for your birthday.
Don't try to age me up before it's time.
Okay. Stick it in the oven and wait for 30 minutes.
You got any plans? Any big plans?
Family time, friend time. I was gonna go see Deadpool at some point, but I'm not gonna cram that in for today.
That's out.
Yes.
Deadpool?
Yes.
For real?
Yes. At least I think it is.
Nah, I thought it comes out in July. That's what I was saying, huh? Cause no, my boy would have been hitting me up like, yo, we gotta go. Nah, whatchamacallit came out this weekend. Stupid Bad Boys. Yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine don't come out till July 26th.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. I typed it in yesterday and I had like all these movie times pop up, but okay.
Well, they might be playing the old Deadpools in the theaters to lead up to it.
Oh, that makes sense. That's right. Movies do that, yeah.
Yeah, because I think this Deadpool is like, it's gonna be like Batman v Superman, where this is Deadpool's universe, but they're gonna throw Wolverine from it in it. Because remember, Logan died, but this is the Wolverine. I don't know. They're doing that timeline crap. So I don't know. I guess I'll find out when I go watch it. But
well, I guess I'm not doing that then. So I'm just gonna go pick up a cake and then chill out for the rest of the day. Unless Spider-Verse is in theaters, yo.
Oh,
yo, man.
Hey, yo, everything on fire.
I will take my butt right to that theater. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, so little context. Came up with the idea for this one when we did our one before last. I think we're setting like a theme where one is a bit more reporting on certain things going on, like the game industry, movie industry, whatever. And then the one after that is usually like kind of like the freestyle or the fun one or the one where we just chat about whatever. So I guess this one's gonna be one of them. And I came up with this idea when we was doing the one about what was we doing? It's the one that we used the picture for Sakura. Oh, we was talking about anime. Yeah, and we used the picture of Sakura, making you think that was what the whole thing was gonna be about. She got like a 10-minute slot, 5-minute slot.
Good 10 minutes spent.
Yeah, so we be cheesing a little bit. But nah, this one is gonna be all about, because we were talking about her character development, her character arc and whatever. So this one is gonna be about storytelling and characters. You was a film student, right?
Me noggin. Why you do this to me?
Yeah. You know all about that. You're a film student.
Been out of the game for a long time, Money.
We're gonna put your film student degree to work. Yeah. Okay. But nah, just whatever's on the top of the dome or whatever the case may be. Talking about things that we enjoyed. Like for example, I think one of the first things we was gonna do, well, since we was talking about Deadpool and Spider-Verse and other movies, I'll start by asking you what you think is the best movie plot-wise that you've seen of all time.
Jurassic Park.
Storytelling-wise. Jurassic Park?
Jurassic Park.
Which one?
The first one. The first one? What you mean?
So the first one?
The first one.
No, because the first one is The Lost World, ain't it?
No, that's the second one. The first one was the first one was 93 and the second one was 97. And then the third one was
My-
2003, I believe.
So the one from '93 is the one you
Yes.
think plot wise?
Yes.
Why?
Because legit, no more questions, Your Honor. Stinking,
Oh, I forgot to put the shot clock.
or you got yourself an
All right,
extra, like,
what
6 minutes.
we're live. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, I forgot to hit recording. No, I like,
Can
I
you
like,
imagine?
it's okay. We know this happened. Like, that's not good enough. um, yeah, I think Jurassic Park is a well constructed film just because it's got great characters to follow, characters that you're interested in, characters that you're invested in, that you want to see do good, get through the end of the day, and obviously dinosaurs are cool. Like, when are they not? So the way it can just blend all of those things naturally and organically is very interesting to me. But to counter that, I would say sometimes not everything is so cut and dry, A to B, because not every character is just going to think in a straight line where it's like, I need to do this thing, so I need to act this way. Some characters can heel turn. Some characters can do things that may or may not make too much sense to the viewer because we have the power of hindsight, and we're just on the outside of it all, watching it unfold. Aaron Yeager, just, if you know, you know. So yeah, sometimes the manipulation can work, the heel turns can work, and not every character is like, oh, I'm going to do this only thing and that's all I'm going to do. Like, just like humans who have ever changing motivations and reasons and just all these complex but yet simple emotions, it can also be done in story if the person knows what they're doing and how to write human characters. But yes, Jurassic Park is legit. What say ye?
Okay. So you're saying because the characters was good, the twist from the characters were good, and you like that it wasn't such a linear plot, like not straight. It moved around a bit, took you for a bit of up and down ride.
Yeah, but I think even in the singularity, a story can have those twists and turns. Like Jurassic Park is a very like simple, bare bones film, just about dinosaurs in a park, and it's like, what happens when you kind of get caught with your pants down when the park goes awry? So it's very like, hey, this is what it is. Here's what's gonna happen. Here's how you're gonna respond to it. At least that's what it's like when I watch it, and it feels very like like a horror film towards the middle half of the movie when the dinosaurs get out and the park shuts down and everything is just not going the way people want it to. So in that regard, that simplicity is good because you're just kind of like, I'm just left with this core. I know what the objective is, but how are we going to beat said objective? So I think that was interesting when watching it.
Okay. So Jurassic Park. You got any honorable mentions you want to throw out there?
um The Mask with Jim Carrey, because it's funny.
Hmm.
I would low key say Godzilla 1998 because I do like that movie, but like, you know how I am with Godzilla.
No, yeah, because I think when I was talking about it, because I asked a friend of mine this question when I was thinking about mines, and I asked my mother. I told her, she shrugged Godzilla off because she was like, no, Godzilla's not. I mean, not the Japanese ones are, but you know how they are. We just watch Godzilla and Kong and all the other ones. I don't think that people go there for the plot.
That movie was surprisingly legit. Like, I don't know what it was, but that movie was just like a breakneck pace. And it's always nice to see
Yeah, but
Godzilla
it's
like a pit bull without his leash, but like, I think that's
it's
because you
not
and
really.
I know the other side to him. So
Yeah,
to see him in other things like this, where like again, old Godzilla, he's no stranger to like campiness, right? I know everyone uses the clips where like he's sliding on his tail or he's doing like the little goofy jump and stuff like that, but like Godzilla has ventured into like quote unquote silly territory, because at the end of the day, he is a brand, right? He is being marketed, and people who are controlling this franchise are going to try to figure out how to get the maximum mileage out of it. And you always start with the kids. That's why we had Manila and Godzilla Jr. and leading up to when it would be portrayed silly and then be more seriously in like Godzilla versus Destroyer, for example. It's an expansive history with that character, so I don't mind seeing like that other side of Godzilla just because I know that when they want to go there with him, they can get really dark with him. So that's always
Yeah,
a win in my book. So yeah,
and I mean,
in
it's
that
like
regard,
I don't think
I did like 98 Godzilla or Zilla.
so. So 98
Hmm.
and The Mask. Any other ones or
Um, there is I think it's 1957's The Ghost of Mr. Chicken with Don Knotts. It's just a very silly, goofy movie, it just it just always makes me laugh. Um, yeah, I like that movie. And then there's this Christian movie called Flywheel. I'm forgetting the director's name, but I think it's Alexander or like David Alexander. He's basically like in every movie he directs for these Christian films. And there was something about the Flywheel movie where I was just kind of like, I am invested in this. And it obviously, it being a Christian film, it's gonna have like its messages be like the core of the script, but just the way that the messages are told to you, it feels just natural. It's a Christian movie going in, but the way it's just explained to you, it's just like, oh, this just feels like a movie before like a Christian movie.
okay? With a block. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So with mines, I had to work backwards. I did my honorable mentions first because I needed to figure out what all I would have picked. And I think I tried to be well. I did. I ended up being objective because I think the final three was Batman: The Dark Knight, The
Okay.
Godfather, and Avengers: Infinity War. And when I was like, which one of those would I pick out of those three? Objectively, I mean, obviously, I kind of wanted to go to Dark Knight. It's like, oh yeah, it's the first movie I watched in the theater,
Mm-hmm.
and then like watched again the next day. Because usually, when I was younger, when I was that age when it came out, I think '08,
Mm-hmm.
I'd watch a movie once and I wouldn't watch a movie again until like years later. So, The Dark Knight was the first one that I watched, and then wanted to watch again and again and again. And when the DVD came out later that year, got that for Christmas, watched it again. Um, I remember one time I put that movie on I think it was my Xbox,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I only want to watch the bank scene in the beginning where the Joker first pops out and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, I just want to watch this first scene because of some reason, right? Ended up sitting there watching the whole movie, and I was like, I only wanted to watch, I only wanted to watch the beginning, and then just sat there and couldn't turn it off. So I was like, all right, that movie gets me every time. And then as I was telling my friend who I talk about movies with a lot, I was like, every time I watch that movie, I get something else from it, or I pick something up that I didn't catch the first time. So I was like, I could say that. I was like, I could say The Godfather because I was like, a lot of people just think, oh, it's a mob movie, and I mean, it does have that theme in it. It is that's mainly what it's about, but it's about other things like family, um, business, immigration, a lot of things going on in it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that has a lot more going on to it than what people would perceive. But I had to say Infinity War because another one of my honorable mentions is The Empire Strikes Back, Star Wars, which at the time probably, I mean, I don't know because I haven't watched as many movies as other people have, but to me, it's like one of those movies where it's set up where usually you have good versus evil, and usually good always triumphs versus evil in the end, right?
Yeah.
But The Empire Strikes Back was one of the first major movies that I know of that did the villain's gonna win at the end of this movie.
Mm.
And it's like, wow, I'm sure that probably sent people into a shock at the time, like, wow, they're really ending it with the bad guy winning. So Infinity War did that same thing, but at the same time, because we knew that there was another movie coming after Infinity War.
I didn't know there
Like
was
we
another
knew.
one coming out. I just walked
Yeah,
into
yeah,
the
yeah,
theater
yeah, yeah.
and was
Nah,
like,
they
"Oh,
oh well,
this is
if
playing.
you
I'll
didn't
watch
know.
it."
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
mean, anybody who's been into the series for the thing since like since they started doing the mashups, which is another thing to its credit, it was it did the whole big multiple superhero thing mashup right, unlike DC. Um, yeah, you know that there's another one coming because you're like, yeah, no, they're not gonna end it like this. And I think there was already talks about them splitting it up and whatever. If you watched anything about it beforehand or heard anything about it beforehand or whatever,
Hmm.
so I knew there was another one coming after Infinity War. But at the same time, my jaw was still on the floor when they ended the movie with Thanos winning, and he sat down and he's resting on the farm like he just like just picturing that in my mind, it just has me like, wow, that's crazy.
Homeboy got what he
And
wanted.
yeah, the way that they just let it, the way that they ended it, to have the balls to pull that move was impressive to me. Um, Emotionally, made me choke up a bit when Spider-Man was getting snapped away. I really like Tom Holland Spider-Man, but
Oh,
yeah, he because when he's there and he's calling for Tony and whatever, like he really captures that like teenage scared little boy dynamic right there perfectly, where it's just like, yeah, he's just a kid, like the whole time you're looking at it like this is Spider-Man, like whatever. But at that point in time when he thinks he's getting ready to disappear and he's gonna
yeah.
die,
Now you're
there's
just seeing
nothing that he
Peter.
could do about. Yeah, he's just a scared teenager that's
Mm.
scared, and Tony sees that. And like the way that they jump, because I mean the beginning of the movie is goofy and funny. I remember the little standoff between Iron Man and Spider-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy, and the whole thing about Gamora and Thanos and what that does to Star Lord. And yeah, man, that movie overall, like all the themes that it has, the shifts in dynamics, the characters, everybody just doing their thing, and then what they have to pull off at the end. To me, I had to go with that one. As much as I love The Dark Knight, as much as I love The Godfather, I watched them. I watched The Godfather yearly. I watched The Dark Knight so many times I can't even count anymore. Haven't even watched Infinity War anywhere near as many times as those two movies. But objectively speaking,
You
for
just
me, plot
knew.
wise, I had to pick. I had to pick that one. I had to pick
Okay.
Infinity War.
Yeah, Infinity War
Um,
was solid.
yeah, a couple of other ones I had on. I had Across the Spider Verse on there too, honorable mentions, because like I said back on the Oscars episode, where I just
Hmm.
felt like, that's a movie that's got something in there for everybody. Kids can see the superheroes and it's animated, so it's more directed at them too, and the lights and the colors and the drawings and all the action and whatever.
Hmm.
Teenagers, they can get the coming of age bit from it, where Miles is coming of age and dealing with things and dealing with his parents and whatever, and the parents can relate to their kids with that. Like I was doing kind of that with my mother when we went to watch the movie,
Hmm.
thinking about, yeah, that was like how it was when I was coming up and trying to tell you guys things and you guys getting on me about school and taking this serious and trying to talk to y'all but not being able to say everything I wanted to say. So
And the parents just
teenagers
being
and
like, "Shit,
parents.
whatever." You didn't feel that. It's like, oh, okay.
Nah, because when you're older now, like when you're older now, you know how you had these conversations with your, because you're done. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
we got past that point. So it's like we can look back on that and we can talk about,
we got
well,
all
where
the
I was coming
hindsight
from.
now.
Yeah, and then they can be like, well, where I was coming from when I was trying to raise you, and you could just, I feel like it's good to like start those kind of conversations, have those conversations when you're watching this movie. So yeah, I felt like it has something for everybody in it. So I felt like that was another one, good plot wise. And then I have The Breakup. You ever seen The Breakup with Vince Vaughn and I think is Jennifer Aniston?
I don't think so, but I had a feeling
So
that Jennifer Aniston would be in a movie like that because my
yeah,
mind jumped to like another one.
I like The Breakup. It's my favorite romantic comedy because every romantic movie, most of them.
Mm.
I'm not gonna say all of them. I don't watch romantic movies. I watch romantic comedies, but chick flicks, no. Um, I'm sorry, that might get me canceled. Um, so yeah, romantic comedies, they usually have the theme where like, you start happy, or maybe you start in drama and there's more drama, or the drama happens and then they get together at the end, happy go lucky, happily ever after the end, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the breakup is following along. Sorry, anybody who hasn't watched it wants to watch it. It's a good movie. The breakup kind of goes along following the same flow,
Mm-hmm.
except they start in the beginning. They can't, they're breaking up. They can't stand each other. Whatever, whatever. Vince Vaughn is kind of, selfish in the relationship. Whatever. And Jennifer Aniston has enough and leaves him, and they break up. And then he obviously wants to get her back, so he starts realizing his crap, starting trying to get his stuff together and whatever. And then it's going along like normal. You think, oh, at the end they're gonna get together and be happily ever after, whatever. Nope. Come to find out that she just doesn't feel it for him anymore. You know? he came along and got his stuff together too late. She was already over it.
Yeah, it'd be like that
And,
sometimes.
and I was like, you know what? For a romantic comedy movie to pull that off, again, good job of like pulling a twist at the end where you're like, oh, wow. I thought that it was gonna go that way, the same way like normal, because it's progressing along that path,
Mm-hmm.
and then it, veers right, and it's like, okay, I can get with
Skirt.
that, because that's what would happen in real life. Yeah, you know what I mean. So yeah, no, I got a lot of respect for that
Okay.
movie.
Okay.
But yep, yep, that's my list.
All right. So it looks like a realistic twist can save a film's credibility sometimes, and other times, Attack on Titan, it tends to grind a lot of people's gears. But that's good though.
Yeah, I think it depends on what you're looking for. I kind of do like realism, and I mean we're gonna touch on that a little bit later. But yeah, I kind of do like realism, depending on like what the movie's supposed to be. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
if it's crazy fantasy or sci-fi or something that you don't expect realism from or whatever, maybe it catches you out. Maybe it's not what you want. Maybe if it's at the price of something else, like Snyder trying to give his take on Superman and be like, oh, what would people really think in this dark, gritty world about? So like, you can't really do it. Like Superman wasn't really grounded in the reality of you trying to make it like dark and whatever. It goes there sometimes, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not really what it's about. And you have to understand the character
Well, I
if you're
think
gonna
I
get
think
to
it
the
can
end.
it can be done for sure, but it's just like the people are going to see him as an alien, but at the end of the day, Cal knows that he was raised by, Ma and Pa, right? So like that's his humanity. That's how he sees the world with that particular lens because he had the right people to influence his life for him to be the person he is. But I think Schneider saw like traces of that or little to no traces of that and then was like I just want to make him Jesus. And it's like I'm sure there are stories where they talk about that side of Superman and how he's perceived, but like it's not a good starting film, you know? It's too much to take in for someone who isn't into comic books, isn't into like film criticism to that level, you know? It's like let's just give them I don't want to say give them a dumb movie just to like sit down and like get through because like I think everyone should be challenged when being engaged with something, right? But like the complexity of Superman has years upon years of comic books, right? And it's like to
Hmm.
get that compressed into like an hour and 30 minutes, that is hard for any director, right? Especially directors who aren't privy to like that side of like storytelling with comic books cuz Superman has changed like throughout years. First he used to not be an alien from Krypton. He wasn't able to fly. He just did leaps in a single bound. Like that was the whole gimmick. But then over time,
Hmm.
it started flowing through different hands, and they just started changing a lot of things about him. But it still made sense to like who he was and what he was going to be. But he was very topical back in the 30s, and I don't want to say changes with the times, but like again, whatever the climate was of that era, that's where Superman was. So
Yeah,
just to
but
take
I
that and put it in a movie, it's like good luck to anyone who can do that. And I think Zach just was like, I want my character to do this thing. It kind of reminds me of the guy who directed Detroit Become Human. Like I personally like the
hmm
game because I get what he's trying to say, but like to the untrained ear and just seeing like racial tensions for what it is, it's like David Cage basically was like, I want a black robot to sit in the back of the bus. And it's like, do you know why that's significant, Mr. Cage? And like he can't give you an answer, right? He can only give you what he
yeah,
knows. So I feel like that's
yeah,
what Snyder did. He was like, I just want to make Superman God. And it's like, why? Well, because he can beat anybody if he wants to. And it's like, it's not the character, but you can
yeah. You
try,
gotta you gotta understand the character, because I agree. Like he could have made that story about people seeing Superman as a god or whatever the case may be, but you have to understand Superman and the fact that he wouldn't want people to see him like the best compliment you could give Superman is thinking that he's a human. Treat him like a human. Like that's what he wants more than anything else is to just be a regular guy. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So if you understand that about the character, then you would get it. But instead, like he's trying to think about like Superman struggling with like the morality and just being all sulky and gloom and doom when he's not focused on Lois Lane. Um,
Mm.
and just sulking and brooding and whatever, and like there's a whole bat character that does all of that. You don't have to put that on Superman. Would be the type that, like, if people want to look at him as like God or whatever, it'd be kind of weird and he'd be disappointed, but he wouldn't really let that show, you know what I mean? Like, he
Yeah.
wants to be there for the people. He may go off on his own or whatever, or maybe talk to mom and pa and be a little bit sad about it or whatever the case may be, but he would never really take
Yeah,
that as,
he would show
that's
it
what it
towards
is.
his family for sure, but not to like the everyday people because he's a symbol. He's literally truth, justice, and the American way. Like you gotta at some point you do have to put on a strong face, but not because you're trying to like impress the people, but because you genuinely believe like you just have to take that moral high ground and like just keep on pressing forward to do the right thing. And I think that's what makes Superman so cool. Whereas like Batman, where it's like sure people like that dark broody angle, but it's like if you legitimately lived your life like that, you'd probably die alone in your condo, you know? Like it's just what it is. Like that type of character's nature is just inclined to push things away. You know, there's just no
Yeah.
trust in it. You know.
Yeah, because he has to. Because I mean, or he feels like he has to. Because I mean, as evident from Mask of the Phantasm or anything, any other thing. Like, if he feels like he feels like if he's happy, he's not going to be able to do his job as effective as he needs to be.
Right.
So everybody, because I mean, he has friends, he does have family, he's got romance and love interest and whatever. So he can, if he focused on it, have a semi decent life. Like a lot of the Alfreds and whatever point out, like
Hmm.
you can step back and give money to the police and make them stronger and try to do things right the business like way or whatever the case may be. But he feels like he needs that darkness to be what he needs to be. Whereas Superman doesn't thrive off darkness, he thrives off light. You
Yeah.
can't make him stay in the dark, otherwise he's not going to be Superman. You're now you're shaping the character in a different way. It's going to be a different character. So I don't know. But speaking of characters, that leads us perfectly into the next one. The follow up question would have been, who is the best movie character you feel like you've seen, development wise, character story wise, whatever? Who's the best movie character you felt you've seen all time?
The T Rex from Jurassic Park. No, I'm kidding. um, the best movie character developed. I don't know if I'd say the best, just because there's just too many different takes out there of
Yeah, you can
like a
have a list. Like I
journey,
said, I
you
got
know.
honorable mentions and stuff, so you can have a list and then break it down
Hmm.
like that if you want.
Hmm. Toby Maguire comes to mind with the Raimi trilogy, just because I remember him in the first movie just being, I don't want to say down his luck, but like he was the punching bag to a lot of like life's circumstances.
Mm.
Um, was picked on at school. He only had May and Ben in his corner. Then he lost that. Then May more or less was never the same, but she still put on a brave face to do what she needed to get done. Um, he likes this girl, but she doesn't like him yet. And then when she does like him, he has to kind of do the biggest move ever and just like turn her down because he's got to protect her. Because now he has to start focusing on like the heroism of what he's just stepped into. And then in the second movie, he realizes that trying to actually be a hero is going to take away other aspects of his life that he can't fulfill, and that's causing problems. Again, going back to the Batman thing, like you try to put your time and energy into this, but it's like there's only 24 hours in a day, and 8 of that automatically goes to sleeping, and the other 8 to working. You know, so like, what are you really left with? And then like
Mhm.
he gets his win in the end of that movie by like marrying her, so you think like okay, this might be official and it's going to be in perpetuity. But then like in the third movie he kind of gets everything he wants, so he gets like a big head, and he, I don't want to say, well yeah, he's kind of like cocky. He's just so overtly sure of himself because like he's like, the city's on my side, what wrong can I do? And to see him go from that kid in the first movie to where he was in the third, and how like that caused him, like, putting his hands on MJ, the suit not making his emotions any better because it just brought out the worst in him. Um, I know
Yeah,
the
because he
third,
had the symbiote.
yeah, I know the third one gets a like a really really bad rap, but if we're not looking at the symbiote suit, those feelings were already inside of Peter from like the first two movies, and the third just brought it all out to the forefront. So right now, from what I can think of, I would definitely say Raimi's Peter Parker for me would do it.
That's fair. That's good. You got any other ones you want to mention?
I kind of want to say Korra, but that's animated, so from Avatar.
Yeah, that's TV. That's TV. We'll get to
Darn
that.
it. Yeah, no, I'll just say that one for right now, just because I don't have anything coming into mind at this moment, but for some reason that Spider-Man trilogy is just always stuck with me. Like I went out of my way to make sure I had all three when I moved out, so that one
Yeah,
stuck to me.
even in the first movie alone, like he goes from, like you said, punching bag, because he's the geek in the beginning, whatever. Nobody pays him any mind. Um, then he gets his powers. Then he, starts experimenting with them, whatever. Then he gets cocky in that movie. Thinks he's untouchable. Thinks he's above it all. Whatever. Doesn't have to do anything. Can do whatever he wants. Lets a guy go. Gets his uncle killed. Finds out, the weight of the words that he told him before they parted.
Mm,
And then from now on, realizes that there is, responsibility that comes with that power. So, you have the ability to do things. You have the ability to, make a difference. Responsibility comes with that. And he learned that in that first movie. And then the second movie, is more. He's seeing more about what's going on. And then, like you said, in the third movie, kind of culminates it. So, I mean, I think the third movie gets, I think it's anger out of disappointment, not anger out of they just hate the movie because it's bad.
yeah, but
I
disappointment
think
in
it's
what specifically? Like,
disappointment in that it has so much going on that it kind of loses the tight storytelling of the first or the second movie,
okay.
you know? So I don't really know.
Well, compared to
I
how the
me
first and the
person
second one ended, they villain beat, right? Day is saved, but there's still a lot happening in the background that's going to still fester at some point. And I think by the third movie, again, I think like what is it, Sandman, Goblin, and then Venom. It definitely is a lot to juggle, and I understand that they want to like raise the stakes and stuff like that. But it's like watching it back when
Yeah,
I
so but
did,
it's
it
but it's like
was
remember, it's Sandman Goblin, which Goblin that could be its own thing right there. Sandman could kind of be its own thing right there.
mhm.
And then the symbiote and Peter personally and
That's
everything around
that's
Peter. So it's
stacked.
like it's all of that and you
Yeah.
gotta jam it into a thing and the movie was in production help. So it's like, yeah,
But I think
you
what they
know.
got, I don't know, man. Like I think it stuck the landing. I don't really care for Venom in this regard because like he was just like maybe 5% of the movie, right? But like for Sandman, Harry getting amnesia and how Peter ended up playing that all out because like he knew the whole time, right? He could have tried to reset the board with him by like telling him the truth, but like he didn't. So it was like again playing more into like Peter's like I'm just gonna sit on the back one for this one, and it's like no, you shouldn't do that. You should. This is your friend. You got to be honest with them. And to see that come back and bite him in the butt, I was like, man, like Peter really thinks he's just like in that untouchable state where like what I'm doing is right. It's gonna be okay because I said it's gonna be okay. And I'm like, dude, that's not always gonna work. And
Yeah.
just watching that fold out from I think the movie's like 2 hours and 30 minutes. It's definitely a long one compared to the other two. And I was just excited to see where it goes. Like I just like how you would watch the bank scene, I would always watch the ring scene that Aunt May was passing on to him, and then the scene right after that when Harry attacks him. I was always watching that scene. So yeah, I really like Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man 3 was my favorite.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
nice. I like
yeah.
that because I mean, everybody goes for two, but you go for three.
Listen,
Yeah, I
two is
could dig
solid.
that.
Two is solid, but I never
Two
watched
is
a lot of
definitely a
two
banger.
growing up, and when I did, I was still like, dang, like this is a really, really, really good story. My favorite scene is always the raindrops keep falling on my head scene. Yeah, the fact that that movie was able to at least get a trilogy done, and you can follow this character and take a pencil from one end of the paper to the other and go, I see why Peter was the way he was, right? And any things in betweens can be extrapolated on and have an even more interesting conversation. That movie got the benefit of doing that, whereas some movies don't always have that luxury of sticking the landing. Like if Infinity War ended on that one because the fourth movie just got caught up in like production nonsense, or heaven forbid one of the directors passed away and the vision wasn't going to be the same, that's all you're left with, and that's a very tough pill to swallow. Or in my case with like Jurassic Park, you think Sam Neill's Dr. Grant character is the main one, but then like he's not in Jurassic World 2. I'm sorry, Jurassic Park 2. He's in Jurassic Park 3, but it's like kind of him, kind of not, where he's just like, nothing's ever going to get me back on that island, only to then jump cut to him being on said island, where it's like, I don't think the Grant from the first movie would want to go back to this island considering everything that he's experienced. But again, characters have those motivations, those heel turns. Sometimes just the director saying we want to spice it up, but then he's gone for like another 20 years and he doesn't come back till the end of the second trilogy, and it's just like at that point you're just expecting the audience to have like their headcanons brushed off and saying like, yep, we know where Dr. Grant was this whole time. It's like, I don't know, I definitely could not get behind it as much as I thought I wanted to. It was a thing, but I wouldn't call like Dr. Grant's character like, the best of the century, because it really wasn't about them. It was about the dinosaurs, but you were interested in the characters because of the dinosaurs, if that makes sense. You don't want to
Yeah,
see good
because
people get
that's
eaten
yeah,
by things that they have no control over.
yeah. They what gives what the dinosaurs doing some stakes.
Mm,
So yeah, we're all there to see the dinosaurs, but I mean, if the humans weren't there, then the dinosaurs are just dinosaurs. But when they're chasing after the people are in danger. That's what gives it the drama. The people got to figure out how to survive and interact with them and stuff like that. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So no, Peter's interesting. Interesting. You picked Toby's. You like Toby. Like I said before, Tom Holland's Spider Man is in my honorable mentions. He's not the best
Yeah.
character I've seen. Yeah, Tom Holland. I was thinking about Toby, because I mean, you always have the conversation when they're like, yeah, Toby, Tom Holland, or Andrew Garfield, and everybody kind of scoffs at Andrew Garfield, or the people that just hate Tom Holland, they pick Andrew Garfield over Tom Holland because whatever. I think that Tom Holland to me is like, see, Tobey Maguire felt like a kid, which I mean he was. In his movie, he was a high school senior, and then he was college Peter Parker, and then he was like real world, like in the adult world working
Mm-hmm.
Peter Parker. Whereas Tom Holland is high school kid Peter Parker. He really is like, late teenager, friendly neighborhood. I think a lot of people don't really like his dependence on Iron Man or his time with Iron Man so much. Like, yeah, him and Iron Man are thick as thieves. But again, like I tell my boy, I'm like, that's behind the scenes stuff where Marvel not trying to fully let Sony have Spider-Man on its own without its influence being in it. That's why they have to tie him to the MCU so much in all of his movies that he doesn't really get to be the solo Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
He's like the Avengers Spider-Man, which is also its own cool dynamic because it's cool to see Peter interact with that world so much. But they're fighting over him in the background, so that's what influences on the movies. But just looking at the character itself, um, the younger Spider-Man dealing with, trying to be a normal high school kid and dealing with the dilemmas of, yeah, I got these powers and I learned the weight of them, and I'm trying to, navigate in this world of being a hero, but I also just want to be a normal high school kid. I just want to, go on a class trip. I just want to hang out with my friends. I just want to tell the girl I like her and spend some time with her. But hey, here comes Mysterio trying to mess with the world, or here's this one, or I'm getting pulled into a thing where my friends' futures are getting messed up because he revealed who I am, and they're linked with me and stuff. So I think it captures another side of a young kid trying to deal with all of these responsibilities all at the same time. And never mind when he's in there with the other Avengers and their movies, or when he's interacting with other people, like Doctor Strange,
Yeah.
uh, Iron Man, Happy, all these other people and stuff like that. I like that. I like that dynamic. But no, he's my honorable mention. My
Okay.
he's not the only one, but he's one of them. The best movie character I've seen, I feel, I picked Heath Ledger, the Joker,
Was he
because
was only in one movie, right?
Dark Knight, yeah, that's why
Okay.
he passed away. Because I feel like from the character itself, the way he just plays with everybody, and I feel like I also have to give a nod to, well, I don't really, I think some of it was him improvising, and then some of it is the writing and
Mm-hmm.
the directing. They really, oh God, this is gonna start the debate. They really paid attention to the character itself. And I don't know if it's all improv or if it's some improv. I think it's definitely some. Um, I feel like they perfectly captured the Joker character, but they captured so many different pieces of the character and combined them into one that it was very impressive to me how he can be the goofy Joker. He's showing he's a smart Joker. He's showing that he can be very deceptive and manipulative Joker because he's lying a lot when he
Mm-hmm.
tells Harvey Dent that, do I really look like I'm a guy with a plan? Yeah, you are a guy with a plan. He wants him to believe that, like, he's a wild dog just doing whatever or whatever. But meanwhile, he's manipulating the public. He tells people to uh he's telling the Batman to reveal himself, or he's gonna, do something, I think either kill somebody or whatever. And then, when he got a guy ready to reveal who Batman is, he says, nah, actually, you know what? I seen what life is like without Batman. It's boring. So if you don't kill this guy who's about to tell us who Batman is, I'm gonna blow up a hospital. Like, that's definitely a guy with a plan. And he's manipulating people to do what he wants them to do. And he's like jumping all back and forth. When Batman catches him, he says, I want to show you what the world, when you put these people in a corner, they're going to turn on each other. When he gets them all on the boats with the
Mm-hmm.
criminals and the civilians, and then they both got the button to push to blow up each other, and he leaves it to the two. Like, that is the Joker. I could see that Joker fit easily uh into the animated universe. I can see that Joker easily fitting into comic books. That Joker is the Joker. And then, like I said, the thing about the scars too,
Mm-hmm.
um, where every time he tells it, it's a different story. That's a shout out, though at that time it wasn't even a thing. That's a shout out to the Joker movie being made, where it's like, I don't have a locked down origin story. Every time I tell you where I come from, where my origin comes from, is different. I don't want you to know who I am. They never get his fingerprints. They never can identify who he is because you're just not supposed to know. The movie does that so many times where it's just like, we don't know who this guy is. We don't know where he came from. We don't know anything about this guy other than he's here and he's wrecking havoc now. So I feel like that whole movie, and funnily enough, it's not even his movie. It's a Batman movie. It's a
Yeah, but
Batman
every
movie.
hero is as good as their villain, so.
But he just takes it over. You know what I mean? Like, comparing that to like Jared Leto, though, I think Jared Leto gets a bad. I blame that on the people who make the movie more than I blame it on him, because everybody around the Dark Knight, Christopher Nolan, the writers, the directors, all of them set him up to succeed. He went in there, he smashed his job, and it all came together beautifully. Mwah, chef's kiss. But it was all set up to be that good. Whereas in other Joker iterations, you have, maybe the actor wants to get the character, but he's not given the best script. Maybe, the actor doesn't do the best job with the character, even though the directors and the writers are trying to get him to be some kind of way. But in
Mm-hmm.
The Dark Knight, I feel like it just all came together. It's amazing that hijacked he hijacked Batman's movie. Because when we talk about The Dark Knight, nobody's really talking about Batman in that movie. That movie is so acclaimed because the Joker. I remember they put warnings on the movie because of how dark the Joker was. When it won its Oscar, he won an Oscar. It won Oscars because of him. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's him. That's why I had to give it to him. Um,
Okay.
as the best character, hands down. My honorable mentions, like I said, Spider-Man, Tom Holland. Um, I got Robert Pattinson's Batman on here, but that's a good faith pick.
Mm-hmm.
because it's all about potential. However he comes out in the second movie, if he nails this second movie or whatever, like that'll I think that'll be the determining factor and the rest of his series, however long it goes. But I feel like he's put himself, whereas in the beginning of the movie, the Batman, he was just vengeance. He was just angry. He's just a pissed off boy who lost his parents, who got all this training and is beating the hell out of criminals and whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
that's all he cares about. He's not trying to save. He just wants vengeance. He's taking it out on Gotham's criminal element
Justice
to to at the end
for
he's
Gotham.
like I gotta be more than that. I gotta be, like a symbol of hope. Where in the beginning, I told you this when you was here, they were scared of him. Even the people he's saving are scared of him. And then
Yeah.
at the end, when he's saving people, they're scared to leave him. Like, they respect him. They look at him as a symbol of, Batman's here to save us. So he's becoming that character. He's set up to become that character that we know the Batman to be. And I think that if they nail it in the second movie and going forward, that he'll pay that off and he'll cement that. But I
Okay, so
couldn't
what
nail it.
happens? What happens if Patterson meets Phoenix? Like, what if these movies are like making them come head to head? What happens then? How will you feel? Will you watch Joker 2 with me finally?
No.
Wow,
But
you said you like chicken flicks. Come on, man.
I hate no, I don't I can't watch chick flicks. I never seen the Titanic.
That's
Um
okay.
But
You still watch rom
and the
com?
Joker 2 is Joker 2 is a musical. But no, addressing your question without raging, the reason why I don't really another one of the many reasons why I don't like the Joker is because I don't really see how that. I mean, you can't. Well, I guess you can because I think Thomas was kind of crooked in that movie too. But yeah, going forward, like that was one of the reasons why I was pissed off because when it ended, I was like, yeah, this Joker's not even a bad guy. He's like maybe morally gray, more on the darker side of the gray, but he's not evil evil. The people are running in the streets praising him. And I was like, yeah, he gets Bruce's father killed. So I don't know. If you get Robert Pattinson's Batman to run into him, when I walked out of the movie theater, I was like, I don't see how the Batman in this universe doesn't want to kill the Joker because this Joker is directly responsible for his father being killed and mother, coincidentally. Not Joe Chill, but him, or maybe it can be Joe Chill, but it's him. It's Joker's influence that got them killed. So that's gonna be a very angry Batman when he runs into the Joker. He's really gonna have to
You're like, I
test
hope
his
he beats the
discipline.
brakes off of this guy. I can't
Nah. I mean,
stand
I
him.
don't hope so, because I mean it's gonna ruin his character. But I mean, it's really gonna test his discipline, because you're looking at the person responsible, the influence for your parents getting killed down when you go meet that Joker. So I mean, and if he starts throwing it in his face, trying to use it to break him, then good luck. Because I mean, I don't know, but that's what I'm saying.
Well, I think that'd be interesting to see, because Batman's got to
And the
be
fact
what the people need him to be.
Yeah, but people thought that the Joker was onto something, and I even got to hand it to him. That Joker was kind of onto something. I mean, he's been kicked. He's kicked when he's down, mistreated. Like I said, what's his name? Murray, the guy, Robert
Hmm.
De Niro's character, only brought him on the show to make a fool out of him. So that one, yeah,
Well, maybe that'll
because
be a
he's
wake
not.
up call that like you said, the people, right? But we don't know if that's the majority or the minority, right? That side with the Joker. It could be a very vocal minority, but like I think what I'm trying to get at is that like Gotham is only going to be as good as the people. So if the people see that Batman's way of thinking and like just trying to make Gotham better is better than the way Joker does it, then Gotham will sway towards Batman's influence and Gotham will be better. That or they can turn the lights on because it's always dark in Gotham. I think that's what I'm trying to get at if the two were to ever collide. Not specifically like Joaquin's Joker, but like if Joker and Batman come head to head, then I think that that level of like, well, who really stands for Gotham and who wants what's best for Gotham, and by Gotham the people, you know.
Well, because Batman's whole thing is like he Gotham is corrupted at the root, and like it's always been kind of like an isolationist like city. Like I remember even in No Man's Land, like Nobody would come in to help him. Gotham's always kind of like stood on its own, even in its darkest of times. They have a like Gotham versus everybody type mentality. So Gotham is so corrupted at the root of it that Bruce feels like he has to become this because his parents get murdered and nobody solves it. Very few people even try to solve it. And they're some of the biggest figures in the city. That's like, you know, your mayor or like, you know, your governor being a huge figurehead in your city and they get murdered in the street and that never gets solved. It's crazy to think about. Like you figure a lot of resources would go into this.
Well, yeah, but then
Um,
you would think that with the amount of resources that Batman has from like his Batman side and his Bruce Wayne side, he would have been cut out the route to like the city. But like I don't know, part of me
well,
thinks
he
that
does.
he does like just constantly fighting and just like
He
the
he
never ending battle.
Well, he does, but he does it in a way. I mean, because honestly, you got to think about it. It's a writing problem. If Batman permanently kept everybody behind bars and bought the finest security systems and whatever,
Mhm.
then the story's over. You know what I mean?
Well, that'd
So
be good to
you
have a
have to
Batman
keep.
story that starts, middle, end. Where like he was
Well,
the
no,
Batman,
it's the
now he's no
point that
longer the
it's the
Batman.
point. It's the point that's never gonna end. Cause you if you put the Joker, you put Two Face, you put Freeze, you put all of them behind bars forever, right?
Hmm.
Somebody else is gonna pop up. That's why his rogues gallery is so large because it's the problem with like him and Goku and people like that they show up because of me. All these people keep coming here because of me. They see Batman doing his thing and they match that what they seem to be is their level of like insanity. Here's a crazy Batman's kind of crazy. Here's a man spends his nights dressed up as a bat beating up on people.
That'd be crazy. I'd
And
be like,
so
dude, I gotta get up at like 5 in the morning. Can we not do this? Can we
no, because
not
that's his
fight?
main that's his main job. And then some of them, when they try to explain it, they're like, "Oh, well, he takes power naps throughout the day." And some of them are like, "Oh yeah, he's the master of like the what is it, the 30-minute nap or 20-minute nap, something like that or whatever."
What?
Which yeah, where you can't think about it too hard. He's supposed to be like one of the realer superheroes, but
Hmm.
you know. Anybody who does that in real life is gonna die of exhaustion, or he's gonna get shot because he didn't sleep enough, and somebody caught him unaware or whatever. So yeah, you can't really think about it too hard. But yeah, like it keeps going. The battle against crime will never end. No matter who's doing it or whatever. Even in stories where you got oh, what if he just kills him? If he kills him, then it's only a matter of time before the government starts worrying about him a lot more than they already are, or they're still just gonna keep popping up. So I mean, there's no end to the battle of crime is the whole point of the thing. But no,
What if he gave it to the
he
Bat family so the mythos of Batman is always like the question of like, is this Batman or is this like one of his underlings? But there's still like a problem.
well he does. But
Well,
I
no,
mean,
but what I'm
there's
saying is that like Batman is like no longer in the picture. Like Batman finished his part of Gotham. Like he thought that like, okay, I took away all the S tier villains, right? Now I'm done as Batman. But obviously, like you said, more people are gonna start popping up because like it like they'll always be there for Batman. But like Batman is like no longer in service. Like he is officially stepped down. But you still have the other members of the Bat family that all just take turns of like fighting crime. But like nobody knows if like that person is Batman or if it's just like another side to him. Just to keep the
well
mystery of like when is this dude ever gonna be beat, you know?
yeah, they've done that. And Batman R.I.P. What is it? Battle for the cow, hair to the cow, whatever. They got storylines like that where he kind of passes the buck or he goes away, or even in the regular continuity. Like the reason why he starts allowing them to patrol the family, Batman Incorporated, whatever, is because he feels like it's safe enough for him to have other people running around taking care of things. Nightwing goes off to Bloodhaven. Um, Barbara starts running the what do they call it? The Birds of Prey. Her, Canary, and Huntress.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, they sends Robin off to the Titans. Um, trains his son eventually, and all of that. So yeah, because other people can kind of take it, and when it's big enough for him to step in, or in certain cases where he can step in, then he steps in, or he takes them off, or runs it like a team or a corporate or whatever. So yeah, he gets around to it. They get around to it into doing that.
Right,
But
but to see that
and
as
like
like a front to back story versus like a uh in the next issue kind of thing, because like I get it, different writers are going to do different things with these characters. Sometimes they'll regard continuity, sometimes they'll discard it, um sometimes they'll just do away with all of that and then just make their own thing from the ground up. But like what I would like to see is like a Batman that starts, gets to the middle of the road, makes a decision, comes to an end, and like that's the Batman. Like however long that story has to be, right? Let's say like 60 episodes, right? And
mhm.
then when he's finally done and he's finally put down the cowl, a new era of Batman begins, kind of thing. Or I guess that's what Batman Beyond is, but like I think
That is, yep.
we have that like in
Well,
memories, but like again, it's still being put on like one person's shoulders, but crime is still happening because I guess there'll always be crime. I don't know. There's definitely like like a finality that I would like to see from Batman, but I guess with this
well, because in
particular
Bat
style of characters, it never ends.
and Batman Beyond, everybody gave up. Barbara quit to become the new commissioner. Dick quit to, I don't know what he did, but I think him and Starfire get married in that thing. Um, you know what happened with Tim? There was no Jason in that universe, so you can't count on him. There's no Damian in that universe, so you can't count on him.
Mm.
Um, and then Terry becomes the new the next Batman. Though he doesn't want him to, because it's a thankless job and all of that. So there was none. But Terry ends up becoming the new Batman. So either you get Batman that's done, like the Dark Knight Returns or whatever, that gets too old and then has to come back out of retirement until he really can't do it anymore, and then it's a done deal. Or you get the Batman that's too old and he takes on a protege and forcibly has to because he literally can't do it anymore. But that was the original story that he's just gonna die alone because he just pushes everybody away, and when he can't be Batman, he's miserable. Um, it either goes like that or you write a happy ending for Batman, which I could see that happening. But it's gonna be tough because as long as Batman can be Batman, I think he's gonna want to be Batman. As long as he can fight, I think he's gonna want to have some part to play in there. I don't really think he's gonna be the one to just stay behind the computer and stay at home or anything like that. So I mean, you could get it. It would be interesting. I agree with you to see. Christopher Nolan did it, where he kind of passed the buck onto the Robin in that universe, but he's just a regular cop, and Bruce retired and went to thing with Selena.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
And what is it, the Dark Knight Rises? Yeah, the Dark Knight Rises.
I'd say finally, but I don't trust Selena. So
Yeah, because I think even in Injustice, I think one of her endings said, "Oh, well, they got together and they were happy for a bit, and then she got bored, so she's gonna leave,
wow.
or he'll get, he'll feel the call to come back.
Cats and
Something will
bats,
happen
am I
where,
right, people?
yeah, and he'll feel the call to come back. Personally, that's why I like him better with Talia, but unfortunately, Talia's too stuck on her father's order and whatever. So,
There'll always be crime, and there'll always be women that break your heart.
yeah.
Noah.
So, all right, that's movie character and movie plot or movie because of the plot. The
Mm-hmm.
next one I had my biggest struggle with anime. What's the best anime you've seen, story or plot wise, all time?
One for recency bias and one because it's legitimately true. Attack on Titan. I
Is
don't
that
know
for recency
what y'all
bias?
saw or what y'all read other than the manga that made y'all go, I didn't like that ending. Man, as somebody who's done both
Let's
and
talk
gave
about it.
and gave time for the anime to finally finish because that thing was cut up into like two parts and then the last episode was like two parts of one chapter to the part two of the season four finale. Yeah, that whole convention was weird.
Man,
Yeah,
that's very confusing.
yeah, like they chopped it up for some weird reason, but watching it all play out and still remembering what I know, that was a really, really, really good story. Like Woo! I'm still feeling it, but it was really good. It was really good. The way we watched this character from episode 1, which is all planned out from the end of like, I forget how many episodes there are together, but let's say like 92 episodes, right? Take your finger, right, and just point it at the air. Go episode 1, and then move your finger back and say episode 92. That was all planned from like 2014, I think, when the show came out, to 10 years later. And I'm like, tell me what anime has the luxury of having its story already complete. They know how it's going to go. They know how they want it to end. And it doesn't get canceled. It doesn't get put on hiatus in the sense where like, oh, we're going to start going into like filler territory, or we're just not going to give you anything at all. Like, when that show was away, that show was getting work done, you know? And I think it is just like, it's very influential. Like, we had a lot of good anime growing up, and then that was all condensed into a good piece of writing like Attack on Titan. And maybe we'll see that again in another 10 years, right? But Attack on Titan was like really solid. Like, the way that show made me think about like just character motivations and why humans do what they do. It's like, yo, that's tough. That's tough. I'm trying not to spoil anything. It's like I really want people to see it. But yeah, it was just a really well constructed show, despite how like just crazy season 4 gets. And the production changes that comes with that as well. That had some growing pains. But from like what I remember watching like seasons 1 through 3, and then taking a huge break until 4 finished, I couldn't believe how much I remembered. And I think the last time I saw season 3 was with my dad in like 2022, and then I haven't touched the show since. So to come back to it when I was like, all right, I'm finally going to do it. I'm just going to go right into season 4. Nothing. I only watched the last episode of season 3 just to make sure that, like, you know, I didn't miss anything. Still remembered everything. Season 4 happens, and season 4 does not hold your hand. Like, it does not do like a whole bunch of flashbacks of the previous seasons outside of like the main things that tie it all together. But everything is just related to what happens on the other side of the walls. And I was just like, wow, like the fact that I remembered all of that is just proof that like that was a really good story, and something about it just stuck with me ever since I put it down. So, Attack on Titan legit. If you don't like it, that's okay, right? I'm not gonna hate you.
All right.
I'm not gonna come after your dog.
So what's the recency bias one then?
Attack on Titan.
Oh, so no, I thought you had an anime because of recency bias.
Nah, that okay. Is the reason. Unless, okay, you know, future me is manipulating old me, which is manipulating current me. If you know, you know. But yeah, no, Attack on Titan, because I just finished it like Thursday. And like I'm still thinking about it, because like, bro, to stick such a landing after 10 years, that is just crazy finesse. That is crazy, crazy finesse.
Sounds good. The way you explained it, the way you explained that.
Yeah, but how about you?
The one that I picked, man, I had a tough one trying to figure this one out, and then I even looked up what other people thought, and I seen a lot of animes that I didn't even watch. Death Note, never seen Death Note.
Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, not to cut you off. My boss just sent me the happy birthday text, and he used a Death Note gif with Ryuk and L. Just as you said that, when I was opening my phone, I just got hit with do you know Ryuk?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know about it. I just never watched it.
That just happened as you said Death Note. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, they were saying that. I thought you was gonna say, yeah, my boss told me happy birthday and asked me that I want to come into work today. I was gonna go.
Yeah.
But but yeah, no, never seen Death Note, though. That was one of the top ones. Another one was Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Never seen that one either. Then I had to think about it myself. I wanted to so badly give it to Naruto, because Naruto is what I ended up comparing a lot of things to after I watched it, and you know how I felt about it being like the answer to Dragon Ball Z. keep Dragon Ball Z in mind for a bit. Um, but I couldn't because the shaky the shaky last parts of it.
Okay.
So I ended up going with Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works because adapting a visual novel very well, pretty very well, I have to say.
Okay.
Um, one of the three stories, and the story that it tells is a battle of a person fighting their future self, which kind of goes back to what you were saying, what the future you manipulating the current you, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So that's a story that you sum me up perfectly with that one. So it's a story about, yeah, fight your future coming back to confront your present, or maybe your present confronting your future. Yeah, that's a very interesting thing. When I started thinking about it, I was like, yeah. And I mean, like the story that telling that, and then its influence on both parts. And out of the three, I think it's the one that I like the most. The Fate, and then Unlimited Blade Works, and Heaven's Feel. Heaven's Feel is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
um Fate is kind of just like sappy. Oh yeah, Shiro and Saber get together. That's their thingamajiggy, and they go through it together. And so that was that. And Heaven's Feel is just like, balls to the wall, crazy. Everything's happening. Everything's crazy. These crazy character developments and whatever. But it's kind of like out there. It's good, but it's kind of like out there. And Unlimited Blade Works is really the one that just kind of makes you think like, man, here's Emiya, his future Emiya, Rin, and then the whole Holy Grail war going on at the same time, talking about the past, talking about the future. You're looking at what you wanted to, you looking at what you want to become in the future. It's staring at you, telling you you don't want this. Matter of fact, I'm here to kill you so you don't become this. And it's just like, whoa, and then they fight each other. And it's like, so payoff story wise, action wise, I just felt like it hit on all angles for me. Um, Another close one I was gonna say was Veroni Kenshin, because it
Okay.
got in there, it told the story it needed to tell, a story about redemption, a story about confronting your past, a story about what somebody who has a bad past deserves for their future. And I'm not even gonna cap. The movie made me cry. The ending movie, the
Mm-hmm.
end when he, that got me. When I watched it when I was younger, I was like, yeah. So that whole thing in its totality, not counting the filler,
How
that
dare
was a
you?
tight story that focused on that focused on what it wanted to do. But no, I had to go with Face Day Night,
Okay.
Unlimited Blade Works.
Yeah, there's something about like a show that does like time travel and the paradoxes that can come with that. Sometimes they go in on like all of it. Like we're using all of the rules, we're using all of the contradictions, all of the paradoxes, all the parallels, and sometimes that can work. But I think like Attack on Titan did just enough to where like it there's like maybe two moments where like you might lose what's happening because it's like think of like the chain animation in like Master Duel when there's like seven chains going off and then they
Hmm.
add another one and you add another one and then it resolves backwards, so you're literally just watching it zigzag. Like that's literally what it does in like the last 10 episodes, and you're just like, if you know what's happening then you're all there for it, and if you miss like one of the key turning points then you might go, okay, who am I siding for? And I still think that's even a good question to even take away from, because like that just adds more to like the, oh my goodness, like what is happening? Like there is a very huge sense of like this is it in this last season. And I don't think many shows have done that, at least for me, not since Sozin's Comet. Like Sozin's Comet was like a, where were you when this 2 hour episode aired on Nickelodeon, right? It was that level of like, oh my goodness. And actually saying that now about time paradoxes, I'm also thinking about Big O as well. That's another one that I really liked. Like, there's just something about a story that like starts at this, like what we think is the start of this journey, but the answer to it all is literally just look behind you. It's literally the last episode. Like it was right there. Um, Side tangent. It's almost like Ready Player One in the first. I think it was the first level where they were like trying to like beat the race, but they couldn't get past Kong. And they're like, "Oh my gosh, what
Hmm.
should we do?" And there's like, "Has anyone ever tried like going backwards?" Like, like the answer was literally just over your shoulder. You just had to look for it. And I like seeing that in stories because it's like, "Oh my gosh, like did they really think this through, or did they do like the craziest case of like mental gymnastics midway through the show and like quote unquote save it?" Like I just love stories like that. So,
But you know what it could be as because I'm writing something with a friend of mine now,
mm,
and it's like sometimes if you write something completely, like you if you know, like whenever I'm writing, I always know like what I want to tell in the story. It's just about like getting there. So if you know your end destination and
mm,
you know like maybe like a middle destination and you can put the pieces together to lead up to that or whatever, it kind of helps out. But also what you can do, because I was thinking about it when I went back to listen and we talked about Persona with Akechi and the pancakes,
oh,
right? If you're writing it and you know where you're going, you can do things when you're writing the beginning to get you to the points that you want to in the end. You can drop little hints in there that's like, see, I'm giving you the answer now, but you may not get it because it's not right in your face.
yeah,
But when you get to the end, you get to go back and be like, yo, they told us in the beginning.
neurons
But there's so
activated.
many there's so many other things going on that maybe you just didn't catch it. And for the really, really, really attentive ones like you, they do catch it. Like, yo, they told us that way back in so they were setting us up for that way back in the beginning. I thought
Oh,
that, and now they're proving it right. So it gives you something like a reward for paying attention, and it also like shows the creativity of like, yeah, they foreshadowed this way a long time ago.
yeah, yeah. I like
Yeah,
stories
no,
like that.
that's cool. So Attack on Titan is the type of anime and kind of make me want to watch it, but
That's right. You
Attack
never
on
finished it. Yo, 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 yo. Peep. So I have Death Note at home. Okay, I'm actually going down there today. So if you want me to grab
Damn,
that,
I gotta
and
watch Death Note
I'm just
too.
saying, if you want me to, because I have the whole, I got all the DVDs for it. So if you just want to watch it as it is, okay, I got it for you. I am
Hey,
planning on
you gotta get
getting
your stuff from here too.
what stuff? Oh, you're
Your
right. You're
stuff I
right.
got you.
Oh, okay, perfect. We'll do a little equivalent exchange. And I say equivalent exchange because I'm also going to be buying Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood shortly. I might even just buy it today because I'm doing my movie collection now. So I got to get Brotherhood. I got to get the Holland trilogy because I want to get No Way Home. But you know how like certain DVDs do like the three-way bundle and stuff like that. So it's
Oh, the
just
3-pack.
yeah, so I'm gonna do that where it's just all the movies in like one case. Same thing with Transformers. Same thing with the Godzilla and the Kong ones. That's like a 5 movie collection one. So like, yo, I'm just saying, if you want to start with Death Note, it's like 36 episodes. You got this.
All right, we'll talk about it.
I give to
We
you
gotta we gotta nail these last ones because we got 20 minutes left.
20
I think
minutes.
the next set I really wanted to get to. So real quick, best anime character you've seen, story development wise?
Aaron.
Is that just because? All right,
Yes.
that's fine.
Goes right back to talking about the same whole thing. Wait a minute. Is this a manipulation of the past events?
That's fine. I picked Vegeta because
Okay.
I thought I had to think about it. I
Okay.
know we know that Dragon Ball Z is not the strongest story wise, but
I wish Super was
Vegeta's
about Vegeta, but go ahead.
Vegeta Vegeta's development is legit.
Okay.
This is a guy who silver spoon in his mouth, thought he was gonna be the best of the best because his father told him so. Had his father get killed and ended up working for the guy who did it off of manipulation, but I guess he knew. Was a terrible, terrible, terrible villain. Slowly turned to like, I guess, anti-hero, I guess if you want to call it that.
Mm-hmm.
With his whole motivation being that he just wants to be stronger and beat the low class, saying that he should have been able to beat from the get-go. To copying him, thinking that that was what gave him strength with, having a child with Bulma, Trunks, and whatever, to coming around and actually caring, showing that he cared for his family, his kid. You know, when Trunks get lasered by well, future Trunks
Oh,
gets
that's
hit
right. He
by
did take
Cell.
one to the chest, huh?
Yeah, yeah, future Trunks, and then him going ballistic on Cell for that. Vegeta got some real dope development. You know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I feel like Gohan gets dope development until they completely drop the ball with it because it
No,
just
Gohan
wasn't
got
gonna
slapped
go.
around too many times where he's like, you know what? This life ain't for me. Dude, his time
Well,
on Namek,
he was going it was going in that way because Toriyama wanted, you know what I mean?
that man was
Dragon
getting
Ball Z
his
is supposed to
neck
be his.
popped.
We already went over that. DBZ was supposed to be his, but when I guess Toriyama figured out he just wasn't gonna win that battle, he just gave up after like the third or fourth time he tried to make it happen, and they wouldn't let it happen.
He went
But
from gang member to, you know what? This ain't for me. I'm gonna go hit the
yeah,
books.
Vegeta just got some legitimate development. Piccolo gets a little bit development. Like Piccolo would probably be similar to him, but
Mm-hmm.
Vegeta just gets that development on like another level.
What about Frieza?
And I got nah, because I mean
Oh?
Frieza's development is in like what Super, and I'm not watching. I don't watch Super, so Frieza is a good character. He's a good bad guy, but no, because he's just the bad guy.
Wow, he
He
shut that
wasn't really
down. He said no. No period.
he is what I wish they would get into making villains as
Mm-hmm.
like just bad people for the sake of the good people having somebody to overcome instead of giving them all deep motivations and what, which is funny. I got Itachi on my list. I got
Really shot yourself in
I
the
got
foot
Itachi,
there.
I got Itachi on my list. I got Obito on my list. I don't have Pain on my list, but I love Pain.
That's crazy.
Also don't have Madara on my list, and I like Madara.
Just all Uchihas, huh?
But no, because Pain Nagato's an Uzumaki.
Yeah, but Obito, Itachi.
Because we know Kishimoto loves the Uchihas more than anybody
Don't
else.
raise your voice at me.
but you know who's candy behind is not on this list?
uh, Kaguya?
Sasuke.
Oh. But Sasuke legit, so you're wrong.
Yeah, he could be legit, but he's not on my he's not on my list. Nah, but yeah, no, Vegeta's development is really good. I have Emi Shiro on here because of the show I just said. Kenshin Himura is also on here.
Okay.
I also got Shinji on here from Evangelion because that boy went through it.
That he did. Dude, honestly, the ending
he
of Attack on Titan did remind me of Evangelion, and I was like, I should watch Evangelion from front to back.
Yeah, you can watch Evangelion, though. I mean, don't watch the last episode and don't watch the Netflix version of it. But yeah, watch the movies. And yeah, that boy went through it. That boy went through it. So
Poor
for him
Shinji.
the character story that he has and the progression and all of that, he almost Shiro and Himura really almost boiled it out. But then when I started thinking about Vegeta
Mm-hmm.
in a show that isn't about plot, isn't about character development, for him to have the plot and development that he had,
Yeah, it's
very
definitely a
good,
shining star.
very impressive. Yes,
Okay.
very impressive. All right, so the two that I wanted to get to, because we got the last 15 minutes.
Please don't say bear versus woman.
No,
Okay.
absolutely not. It's still trending in the same direction. That's over. That's done.
Thank goodness.
That was last month's thing. We moved on now. Best video game story.
Let me look back over at my massive collection.
You want me to go first?
Hatoful boyfriend.
I
I'm
had
kidding.
a feeling that you were gonna. I had a feeling. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if you sat here and wasted these last 15 minutes.
Dude, Barbie's horse
put that game
adventure. I'm telling you, man, there's an adventure to be had.
All right, well, this was another episode of the Rant-A-Way podcast.
You go first. You go first.
All right, I'll go first. I picked GTA 4.
Oh, okay. I see you.
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah, I
with
picked
DLC or
GTA
no
4.
DLC? Because I didn't play DLC, so I'm gonna be lost when you get to there.
No DLC, no DLC, no
Okay,
DLC.
yes, GTA 4. Yo, I still
DLC
feel
makes it
bad.
a better makes it a better game,
Hmm.
but story wise, okay. So as efficiently as I can, um, GTA because GTA series has always been a series where it's about crime, but they never really like get into the super nitty gritty of it, and it's usually distracted by the goofy like side stuff that you can do instead. When I beat GTA 4, right, the
Hmm.
first time, I picked to do the deal because I tried to get in character and I tried to give Roman the benefit of the doubt. I did the deal at the end, and then Roman gets killed in that one. Um, and I went to sleep that night and felt horrible.
Holy
Woke up
moly.
the next day, felt horrible, and went to redo that to make that right and get the other ending, right? Get the other ending,
Mm.
and Kate dies, but Roman's alive. Very bittersweet.
Mm.
And then as you get, and mind you, that game came out in 08, 09. So I was
Yep, 2008.
14 at, yeah, 14 at the time, 13, 14 at the time. Um, so that was then. Now looking at it, it's like, dude, that whole storyline in totality
Hmm.
is just like it that if that's not a warning that like crime doesn't pay, or what the thing about what the lifestyle you could look at it getting into crime is like, if that doesn't warn you about that, I don't know what will. Like that is not, there's nothing, no happiness lasts too long in my man Nico Bellic's life.
I am
He
sad
had
now.
it rough before the game starts. He had it rough
During the
at the
game.
end. He had it rough during the, yeah. He has moments where he got money and he moves into a nice safe house and he can do a little something for his cousin and he dresses better or whatever, as per usual in GTA games. But the story that game told, with dealing with Darko and dealing with all that other stuff, being betrayed by Dimitri,
Mm.
that game was legitimate. The story it told was legit. In an era where they was trying to tell everything gritty and real and whatever, that one I felt like succeeded. To the point that a lot of people don't like that GTA because they're like, well, where's the happiness? It got too real. Like they didn't even want to deal with the fact that that story was
Yeah,
grounded.
that definitely requires a lot out of you emotionally. Again,
Yeah,
like
it,
the
it, gra-
the
it's
demographic
grounded in
playing
realism.
GTA is definitely younger than what Rockstar's anticipating. But yeah, no, dude, GTA 4 would like if I went first, man, GTA 4 was like I still remember that day when
Well,
I because what I did was I took the deal. I'm sorry, I didn't take the deal, and Roman got axed, and I was just like, I'm sitting in that crusty apartment up in like I think it's like Flatboroughs, and all I remember was just that music chime of like the dun 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 dun, but it was like a sad version, and I was just like, I have to play the game over to get the other ending, like because I just
yeah.
saved it at every point that I made it at. So like, dude, oh, that was tough, but
To this day.
to this day,
That's the ending from all of them that sticks with me the most.
yeah,
And I've played five like 100 times, but four is what sticks with me the most.
yeah, yeah. GTA 4 was solid. Rockstar,
What
this is
what
not a call to
what?
action to make it a remake or a remaster or whatever you do to repackage it. We like it just as is. Bless.
Yeah, yeah. Leave it alone, please. But
Cool.
what says you?
What says I? All right, if I'm in efficiency mode and recency bias, I was gonna give it to Horizon, but that is a sprawling story of two games, so I'm just gonna look at one game, and that goes to Cyberpunk.
Wow, I'm
Uh, I will
surprised.
give it to Cyberpunk.
I'm
I remember, I
surprised.
remember sitting on that rooftop just after I finished talking to Misty, and a figment of Jackie, and just thinking like, wow, like either humanity's gonna get to this point one day, like our actual humanity, and we're not gonna know what to do with it, or we're gonna have the best intentions, but it's gonna be applied in the worst ways possible, and at some point there's gonna be more like robotics and non-autonomy than humanity, and like that just always rattles me to the core because it's like I don't think I would want to live in a world like that where like I'm only alive because there's just a beeping chip in my body somewhere, and it's kind of like if you replace every part off of your car with new parts, does it just become a new car at that point? So how many times do you have to strip away something from the human before it's just a cyborg at that point, or just completely a robot? And I'm just like, ugh. So like the way that world was set up and how that story was going, um, that just always sat in the back of my mind where I was just kind of like, I would never want to live in a world like this because either you're gonna get eaten or be, someone who has to do the eating, only to then get upset by like a bigger fish at some point. Like
Mm.
the dude in the first part of the game, what was his name?
Dexter?
Dexter, yeah. Like they try to make this dude like some big head honcho compared to V. But then like dude ends up getting clapped by like someone who's just higher on the food chain than him, you
By
know?
Goro.
Yeah, and I'm just like, wow, like such a cutthroat place to live in. And like how people are. It's like you're just kind of conditioned to expect the worst of them. Like we try to be positive, we try to be uplifting, we try to see the good in people, but like trying to give that to everybody when we can see them literally trying to manipulate us in real time. It's just like the older you get, you really start to just line up what you want in life and you only focus on that. So you just stop giving people the benefit of the doubt, or you just don't have a high tolerance for this tomfoolery anymore. You're just kind of like, what are you doing for me? Can you do it? Yes or no? And then you keep it pushing. So playing Cyberpunk and seeing all that, I was just kind of like, ugh, like, ugh. And then I also like the Silverhand stuff because like the way they speak about him, he comes off as like a relic, obviously. Like I think that's what it is on the surface, but it's kind of like the way they talk about Silverhand, he almost comes off as like a religion, right? He's that far removed, but it's only been like 50 or so years. Like it's not that far, you know? It's like we talk about how like racism was like this terrible thing and blah blah blah. And it is, right? But like it's only been like maybe 160 years. That's like two short people standing on top of each other. We're not that far removed from it, you know? So I think of things like that because it's like what's gonna be the thing that sends us back to those times or as close to it as possible, like war hasn't happened in America yet, like thankfully no one's been drafted that we know of in our immediate families, but it's like humanity's always going to have something to fight for at some point, whether it's a resource or something stupid. It's either blood, money, or booty. It's gonna be one of those three things, right? And
Yeah.
the day that happens, like we might be living in the middle of that, People are talking about
Mm.
COVID like it was this bygone thing, but it was only 4 years ago, but it's already in the
4
history
years. Yep.
books, like we are becoming that history that we grew up hearing about, where it was like, granddad, what was it like where you came from? Like, like our grandparents lived through those times, and our grandfather's father probably punched a Nazi, you know what I mean? Like just two
Mm.
totally different worlds. So I was thinking about all that stuff when playing Cyberpunk because like we're apprehensive to the idea of change, but there's someone out there that just doesn't understand those worries or maybe not have those concerns as highly as we do, and they just want to go all in for it. Like they want to be the first to do it because if they don't, then someone else will. That's just going to eat them up for the rest of their lives. And that's low-key why I like Jurassic Park so much, because it's like the hubris of man. Like you really thought you could create a whole being and then be able to manipulate it, and then when that thing says no, you're like, no, you're gonna do it. That's no different than how black people were treated when you didn't give them any autonomy. So the fact that we're doing that again in robots, it's like, dude, if that hits the singularity, we are borked, you know what I'm saying? So it's like
Yeah.
Cyberpunk really
With all
brought a lot of
these
that to the forefront.
with all these warnings about AI and stuff too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Forward we march into the direction that we're receiving many warnings about. Cyberpunk is a good pick.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking that one. Probably because I feel like it kind of like so when you're telling a story and you have to do gameplay and stuff, storytelling a video game is tough. Kudos to those people because it is tough because you have to format your story around gameplay.
Yep.
Um, but probably because the story takes place in a time where it's like you're gonna die in like what, a week or two, maybe a month at most. But yeah, they give you like 1,000 things to do on the map. So
Yeah.
you know all the times you sleep to get boosts and sleep because you have to or whatever. Like you probably would have hit the limit a long time ago unless you rushed the
Literally.
story. but but yeah, but no, breaking this, looking at the story in and of itself, yeah, very strong story. Even when the game was busted, like the story was still solid.
Yeah, like I'm not even
You
gonna.
had
I
the
wasn't even like gonna count the gameplay because, like, again, like you said, it's tough trying to get those two to meet in the middle and keep the player engaged. You know, if that's the case, just make a movie, right? But
right.
yeah, no, seeing all of that play out and like trying to rekindle old flames, like I felt bad for some of them that like knew Johnny, but it was just like I have to talk to him through you in this. Like I don't know who V is, right? Like I have no affinity, no chemistry, nothing to you, right? But nothing against you at the same time. But it's like you're not Johnny, and it's like, well, I never wanted to be, but it's like I am, so I have to live in this new normal, you know, and maybe
Yeah,
that is
like
part of it.
I got him in me. Pause.
Yeah.
But
I could feel him inside of me. Somewhere in Kingdom Hearts
hey,
that was said.
hey, yo. But yeah, no, like yeah, even Rogue telling you like, oh yeah, I would, do this for you, I would give this to you, but you're not really him,
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, no, definitely. Same thing with Carrie, where it's like, yeah, I'm talking to Johnny, but it's V. Well, which one am I talking to right now? You know what I mean? How do I know? Yeah, no, that story was legit.
Yeah, that
The
stuff
the
just
story
messes with
was
your head. It's just so weird. Like if I was talking to a robot, but the robot took on the personality of like my dad, it would be just so jarring because like I know it's not him, but it hits my reward receptors as if it was. And it's
yeah.
like the fact that we can even condition our brains to do that type of like play is just kind of like, man, our brains are like supercomputers. But at some point we're just like, nope, we're at our limit. But then there's people out there that want to remove that limit from us. And it's just like, wow, like world's a scary place.
Indeed. Indeed. So all right. Moving on to the last one time wise.
Okay.
Best video game character.
Best video game character?
Story character wise. Character itself wise.
Kratos.
He's on my honorable mentions.
Okay.
But why Kratos?
Why Kratos? Because he's legit. No more
Mhm.
questions, Your Honor. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
So Kratos from like PS2 era, right, to the PSP,
Hmm.
to the PS3, and then the PS4. So Kratos up to pre 2018 God of War is like I think where a lot of us were at in life. Not necessarily like, killing everyone that comes our way, but we're very emotionally charged and we're figuring things out as we're reaching that level of like puberty and where we really fit in the social hierarchy, and then what we're gonna do like after high school graduation. Like it doesn't seem like a big deal like in hindsight now, but like the better half of your adult years was at some point decided by you as a teenager, and probably a stoned one at that. So it's like you have like all of these just complex emotions swirling through your body, just trying to figure out how you're going to make the best of it all and live up to these expectations, and then do set expectations from people who probably didn't even care about you like that in the first place, or like they were just projecting onto you what they couldn't do in their life before, and you do these things and it's not what you thought it would be, so you might feel like a sense of betrayal to some capacity. um it sounds super specific, but like I remember having moments in life where like I thought there were certain things expected of me that I would do, and I wouldn't get the result that I thought I was supposed to get, but it was something different. So I had to figure out like what this new reward was and how to go about it and what it would mean moving forward, right? Things like that. Not to mention like being black, being called one of the good ones, you're a credit to your race, all that nonsense, right? Like just trying to figure out all of that and then still like just wake up and like be me. So for me anyways, that would make me very angry, and I would carry myself through life with that mentality.
Hmm.
But then you get to a point where like you, I don't want to say nihilism because that's a very like rabbit hole conversation to get into where like nothing matters, but then if nothing matters, why do you care that nothing matters? Are you finding purpose and no purpose? All these back and forth, right? But you get to this level where you decide your narrative, what your maturity is going to be, and then you start growing from there. Like you take it back for yourself. And I think Kratos did a lot of that in the 2018 onwards, except he had a kid that was like a reflection of what he once was if left unchecked. And there was still time to, I don't want to say course correct, but like, influence the better half of his son's qualities. And I think a lot of us got to that point. So simply being, we just grew up. Maturity is whatever it looks like to you, kind of thing. And his story just really stuck with me. I only played the second God of War, but it was enough for me to go like, wow, this dude is like angry, right? And then
Hmm.
recently, I want to say 20, like the middle of 2023, I just went back and watched like God of War 1, 2, 3, Chains of Olympus, Ascension. I think there's another one that I'm missing. But basically, I watched all of them from front to back, gameplay and all. And then to see him in 2018 when he's chopping that tree, which is when I got back into God of War, where I was like, wow, like I had played 2018 God of War without having the information of the previous games that I watched from front to back. I only knew about God of War 2 when I was younger, but when I got to the opening start screen of that game and it was just like press this button to start and you're chopping the tree and just hearing those screams, I was like this dude is going through something and we're going to figure out what it is. Like I was there from like the first and that's what maturity looked like to me, like being able to deal with those problems and not just run away from them. So for me, I'd say it's Kratos.
Respect it. Yeah, Kratos is on my list. um, Couple of other honorable mentions. Do my honorable mentions first.
Joker.
I got Cloud from Final Fantasy VII because that boy also went through it.
He did go through it.
A lot of people, a lot of people don't know because a lot of people. I mean, a lot. Some do. Final Fantasy people do, but some don't really remember. Or don't know because Cloud is just the guy with the big Buster Sword or
Mm-hmm.
whatever the case may be to them. Dark emo boy, but he got that. He wasn't that way. If you play Crisis Core and you see how he was then,
Mm-hmm.
and you see how he is in seven, and then you see how he is like after seven, he went through it. So I think he's a great character. His character arc is well as it developed over the games and further. Um, my boy Nico, also honorable mention. I got Dimitri as an honorable mention. Good villain. I remember he's probably like out of all the villains in GTA,
Okay.
um, what's his name? Sonny and Tenpenny and Catalina in GTA 3. Um, and then I mean, I'm Devin Weston. Don't even count. But all of the villains you kill at the end of like a GTA,
Mm-hmm.
I never really like wanted to get at one as much as I wanted to get at Dimitri. I wanted to get at Dimitri from early in the game.
Yeah.
I was like, I cannot wait till we get back at him. He played a great villain. So definitely shout him out. Um, did you ever play or see the Walking Dead Telltale game?
No.
So in season one, there's a character named Lee, and I think that anybody who remembers the Walking Dead Telltale games remember Lee. I mean, it kind of went off the rails too because they had like 4 or 5 seasons, and Lee dies in season one,
Mm-hmm.
but he was like the main character of season one. And then the girl that he saves, named Clementine, is who carries on as the main character in the rest of the seasons. But yeah, Lee had a great character arc. Kind of mirrors like no, actually not. It kind of mirrors what's his name? Joel.
Okay.
Kind of, yeah, kind of mirrors Joel, except the difference in gameplay between Telltale and The Last of Us. But it's very much like Joel. Loses his family, finds a girl, looks after the girl like she was his own daughter, Um, looks out for her, makes sure she can live, this and that, and whatever. Except at the end of his season, he dies so that she can live. And then you have to take Clementine and you have to, put Lee out of his misery, which is a very tough moment. Telltale Telltale can get their drama right.
Hmm.
They gotta make it so that your choices actually do matter. But the drama beats in their stories, they really hit the nail on that. So Lee, character that still sticks with me to this day. Kiryu, also an honorable mention. Our boy, our boy went
From
through it.
Yakuza?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He went through it. Oh yeah, because you play Zero too. Yeah, Zero,
Oh wait, so you're
and
looking
then
at him just from
Kiwami.
Zero?
No, I'm saying through from the whole series.
Oh,
Yeah, from the whole series. Zero, one, and then I know you stopped after one, but two, three, four, five, and six. Well, not four and five so much, but the ones that are centrally focused on him, yeah.
Kiri just needs to go on
See
vacation
how
at this
he
point.
to see how yeah, he's been through it. But the character that I picked for the best, it's got to be Arthur Morgan from Red Dead 2.
The cowboy game. Okay.
Yeah, still haven't played Red Dead 2
Still have not
yet.
played Red Dead 2. I still haven't even played the first one.
Okay. So yeah, no, Red Dead 2 was on my list for game stories
Hmm.
because it's another rise and fall of like a whole crew. But I mean, uh Arthur is like the staunch defender and like right hand man to Dutch, who is the gang's leader. And as he further descends into because two is a prequel to one. As the
Oh,
leader further descends into madness, but he's a very charismatic, very intelligent type, does a lot of reading, so he could kind of manipulate the rest of them because it's back in the cowboy days. Everybody's not fully educated. There's a lot more street world smart people than there are book smart and
right.
intellects at that point in time. So as he's manipulating his crew and whatever, trying to keep them all together, all in line, all following him and whatever, what have you. Arthur's a staunch defender of his. And as he goes more and more and more off the rails, the leader, Arthur kind of breaks away and develops into like, action. Because he's always been the kind to like actually care and do things for the people. Because that's your player character, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So you're the one doing the stuff for the people of the group. They need something, you get it. You find something, you take them out. You do this, you do that. You look out for them. And yeah, so as the leader's stopping putting the crew first and putting himself first, Arthur keeps putting the people first. And some other things happen to him. I'm not going to spoil because I think that that's something that everybody should play. That's a game everybody should play or a story everybody should watch. As things develop, and he feels like, time is winding up for them and all of that, he's trying to put everybody in the best position possible that they can be in. And he really turns it around because I mean, at first he was just like, if Dutch, the leader, told him to do this or kill somebody or forget about this one, forget about that one, he'd do it because he feels like he owes his life to him. He's following orders, this and that and whatever. So that was just his role as the number two guy. But as time goes on, he starts to develop a mind of his own. He starts to care. He shows that he's got more depth than originally thought.
Hmm.
He cares about people. He's got a good little redemption like comeback kind of thing going on there. And yeah, no. And when the game was over, it was another one of those kind of choked me up a bit when it was all said and done. So Arthur Morgan over Nico, that was tough. Arthur
Oof.
Morgan over Cloud, that was tough. But yeah, I gotta go with Arthur. Arthur is one of the best characters I've seen video game wise.
Okay. Well, Arthur the Aardvark
Um,
takes it.
and funnily enough, say this and then we can wrap.
Yep.
Shot clock went off. Um, Johnny Silverhand. I think I was gonna tell you this off, but I'll tell you while we're still going.
Hmm.
But you can cut it out if you want, Marcel, on a Tuesday. It's your world. We're just living in it.
Me who ends on
Um,
Wednesday. Who this?
Johnny Silverhand. Would you believe me if I told you he's not even as big of a deal as he and other people even make him out to be?
Like in what regard?
in every regard. I gotta send you some videos that I seen because when I was replaying Cyberpunk recently, I
Mm-hmm.
think at the end of last year, yeah, right before I did Phantom Liberty. Um, yeah, I was watching some stories where they was explaining the lore because it's from a tabletop RPG.
Mm-hmm.
Where they was explaining the lore and stuff like that. Johnny Silverhand is one of those unreliable narrator type of characters.
Right, but
So
like even though he is though, it's like the fact that he was still prolific enough for people to talk about him the way that they did in the game that I played, that impression's always going to be left on me, you know?
yeah, no, I'm like I'm not trying to take away your thing, but I'm saying like they told so good of a story, and the fact that they even have that in there,
Mm-hmm.
like you wouldn't know until you go digging into it that that is the case. Like you have to go looking for it. Like Johnny Silverhand is because he's in your brain, so you're reliving his memories. This is the way he remembers it. This is the way he sees himself. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And the people that you're interacting with, Carrie, Rogue, and you run into some people who are big fans of Silverhand or whatever, they buy into his stuff heavily. You know what I mean? So you're kind of always in the sphere of people and Johnny himself who believed that he was this super huge big deal. But funnily enough, half of the stuff that he thinks he did and remembers doing, like he did do the raid on Arasaka,
Yeah, I was gonna say like yeah,
but
like he was still the bomb in more ways than one.
he was there. He was still there. He was there. But the whole fight with what's his name?
Smasher?
Uh, yeah, that didn't even happen like that. That was another guy. Johnny in his brain makes that him, but it was actually somebody else named Morgan Blackhand. I gotta send
Yeah,
you some stuff,
but
bro.
Morgan
I
Blackhand is considered like I don't know what the
mm,
right word would be for it, but like he's basically like the
he's
shadow
V.
god
Yeah,
of
he's like V
of Night City.
before V.
Yeah,
Yeah, yep.
but again, just the way that hit me, I was just kind of like wow, like this Silverhand really caused a lot of problems for people to the point where they got a whole project started. I mean, they already kind of did it through Adam Smasher with the whole engram stuff like that, but they were like, you know what? We're gonna give you the highest form of like death. We're not gonna let you die, and it's like, pfft, what? Like that's so crazy. It's also kind of like how I feel about Cloud too, because like I see Cloud as like the main character, and
Mhm.
technically he is the main character and we are following like his story, but how others talk about it who know the whole totality of it, he is just a regular grunt, a peon, and fodder really at the end of the day.
Yeah,
And it's more
that's a good
attributed to
comparison.
Zach. And
Yep.
even though I know that's the case, I'm like I still find it crazy that we decided to follow a grunt versus the Zach dude, you know? So even though Zach's the quote unquote main character, Cloud's always gonna be like that guy who I saw as like, oh, this is how I was introduced into the world. And that's kind of how I feel about Silverhand.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. Yep, because to Hojo, Cloud is just an experiment,
Yeah.
and to when Zach was around, he's just a kid who wanted to get into the soldier program, but didn't have the ability to get there. So he was just a grunt. Like, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, so Silverhand's got some stuff, but it's just I found it very interesting when I was watching the videos and it was like, yeah, no, Silverhand is an unreliable thing. Like he has story. He wasn't samurai. He had all of that. He was out there doing stuff, and then he went with the Aldecados for a little while, and he came back, and then he got recruited into like being a thing with Morgan Blackhand and Roe and all the rest of them. He did do all of that. It just wasn't on the level as the game kind of tries to present it, because you're going through Johnny's memory. Johnny's in your head. You
Mm-hmm.
play a character's head, so you're kind of getting it from him directly. But yeah, he wasn't a. Yeah, no, it was just like man to include all of that into the story and to tell the game story from that perspective was really neat to me. But no, yeah, absolutely right. Like that story does go hard, and everything around it
Arasaka.
goes hard.
Nice car.
Yeah, that was a good one.
About to make me get
That was
Phantom Liberty now. I gotta see if it's on
that
sale.
was that was a good one. I told you I'd get it for you. You just got to tell me you're gonna play it.
Well, I mean,
Because
I'd
I thought
play
it
it,
was,
but like when it's just a DLC, right? It's not like a whole separate disc, right?
Yeah, no, it's just a DLC, and you
Yeah.
just go to it just unlocks a part of town, and you just go there and you go through it. Few gigs, because I think when I replayed in December, I did all of the gigs, I did all of the contracts, um, I did
Oh, I
everything
thought you
except
meant
like
like gigabytes, and I'm like a few gigs. Oh, that's pretty
no, no, no,
good.
no, 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 no. I meant like the things that you do for the fixes.
Okay.
Um, and a few missions. Yeah, no, honestly, it doesn't even take that long. Honestly, you could probably stream it and get it done. I know your chat gets on you.
Yeah, boy.
I know your chat gets on you about how long it takes you to. Lay off my man Marcel about
Y'all get off my back.
about how long it takes him to finish games. Yo, we move at our own pace. I mean, I got no excuse because I just be playing games myself, but. He be trying to chat. He be trying to talk to the people. He's a man of the people.
Injustice
He's a man of
for
the
God
people.
love.
But yeah, no, it will probably only take you. Well, you like to do everything. It'll probably take you about maybe 3, 4 streams. I think
Okay.
you do about 2 hours a stream. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
We'll
yeah.
see. I'm so backlogged. I'm so
Me too. And
backlogged.
it's funny. I just started playing. I just started playing because I was like, I'm gonna do the Assassin's Creeds. I
Mm-hmm.
beat Unity surprisingly quickly. I'm very proud of myself. Was gonna do Syndicate next. I did 3, and I got the Ezio trilogy on my PlayStation. But I did 3, Unity, and I got Syndicate to do next. Um, and then I found this game because we was watching the showcase. What's it called? Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is
Mm-hmm.
coming out soon, and I just got Kingdom Come the first Deliverance, so now I'm about to play that. So I'm already sidetracked myself.
Wow. You're gonna be busy. And you have to do that all on top of Death Note.
Yeah, yeah. Then you got me watching these shows, so yeah, yeah. Yep.
Hey, when I get my Attack on Titan collection done, I can swing that your way too.
Oh boy.
Oh
All
boy.
right. All right, Pando. Take us home.
Well, if there's anyone else that's been left out, speak now, forever hold your peace. An hour
Oh,
and
and then the,
54
in the
minutes.
comments too. If you made it this far, we want to hear, what you guys think is
Dude, tell us your
you know,
favorite
the
everything.
yeah, the best movie that you've seen story wise, best character movie wise, best game character, anime if you do. I had TV shows to do, but we don't got the time for it. So if you want
Mm.
to tell us your favorite TV show plot wise, favorite TV character story wise, yeah, we want to hear from you.
Yeah. Also, tell me your favorite 16-digit number and then the 3 numbers on the back. I want to know that for some people, for research purposes. So, with that being said, the Bible said it was more or less
It's,
early in the
yeah,
afternoon.
I was gonna say it's not late in the afternoon this time.
And I need all of y'all to take a deep breath. Say it with me. Stay happy, stay healthy. Don't do anything we wouldn't do, except talk about like our favorite, like just everything in all the media that makes us who we are today. Say it's pretty wholesome. But always keep on being creative. I have been Marcel.
And this is Money Green.
And you guys need to really give me your 16-digit number with the CVC code on the back. Take care, good night, and God bless. Bye.
Everybody
Don't
else.
raise your voice at me.